have tonight Coach Tim Cone himself. Good evening, Coach. Thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Been an honor. Been a tough trip, but back safe, and now we're finally ready to talk about it. I guess we were kind of ignoring all the texts and stuff during the tournament, but now it's time to talk.
Oh, wow, we're so honored you're talking to us first.
I know, Coach. I just want to go through some of the highlights that your team has achieved in the recent performance, winning against Latvia, world number 6. Losing by 2 to Georgia, world number 23. You led by 6 against Brazil at the half. They were the eventual winners of this tournament. And I know you kind of hate being, just being happy with some highlights. You really wanted to win this one. But I just want to know where you're at right now.
Well, I'm incredibly disappointed. I'm disappointed for the players. I'm disappointed for the country. It's funny. We went there with. I'm not sure what our expectations were. We really wanted to just prove that we could play with the European teams, and we knew we'd done well in the Asian games. We know we could handle Asian teams, but the next step up for us was to play against the European teams and see if we could step up against them. And we did. And then once we did, once we beat Latvia and competed against Georgia, the game we could have won. We could have put it into overtime and won, but we didn't on purpose so that we can make sure that we got to the semifinal. But after that, we really wanted to win the tournament. We really felt that we had a chance to win the tournament. So losing to Brazil at the end was very disappointing for all of us. Shattered all of our dreams, and that's always tough. But as I told the players, this really isn't the end. The ending at this particular tournament was bad, but it's not really the end. It's a really good beginning for us as we continue this quest over the next 4 years to the World Cup.
As Gretchen mentioned, Coach, in the game against Brazil, we were all at the edge of our seats. The Gilas men, your men were leading up until the half. What happened there after you came from the break? After you came back from the break?
Well, honestly, I think we're just a little worn down. I think there's a lot. There's so many hindsights. There's so many coulda, woulda, shoulda. You look back on it, and at the time. We felt comfortable leading them by 6 points, but we also said at halftime that we had made a lot of tough shots and Brazil had missed a lot of open shots. And if we didn't change that in the second half, they were going to take us apart. And it turned out to be prophetic. Hitting their shots, we continued to take tough shots and miss them. There's so many what ifs. What if Kai hadn't been injured? What if we had Scotty and AJ Edu and Jamie Malonzo with us? Those things always go through your minds. But the bottom line was, I felt at halftime, Junmar was really, really worn down already at halftime. You remember it was his third game in 4 days, and he was playing. They were rotating 2. 6'11" guys, big, strong guys against him, and really physically up with him. And I think we just got out physical in the second half. And we look back on it, and you think, okay, we could have done this, we could have done that, we could have gone to a smaller lineup. So many things we could have done. And the problem in this tournament is that you don't have a second chance. And that's one of the things we talked about. You got to do it right the first time. In the PBA. In the pro leagues, you play a series. You have a best of 3, a best of 5, a best of 7. So it doesn't work out that night. Unless it's game 7, you got another shot at it. But in this tournament, you don't. You got to be at your best every night. And we just had a really, really bad quarter where we just kind of all panicked together, me included. And we saw it slip away, and we can just never recover.
Okay. Coach Tim, you didn't have a lot of guys. Like you mentioned, a lot of injured ones not being able to play. Then we lost Kai after the Georgia game. moving forward, are you looking to deepen the pool just to ensure, rotation, sufficient rotation in case of any untoward accidents or injuries?
Well, first of all, with Kai getting injured, there's no one who can step in for Kai. I mean, he's our only 7'3". So if he goes out of a tournament, we're toast already. So it's not, if there were a lot of 7-foot players to choose from, then we would do that, but we don't have that choice. I came into this whole program with the idea that I'm with the understanding that I'm coaching stars. These guys are superstars in their own leagues, whether it be Japan, Korea, here in the PBA, in the college leagues. They are the stars of that league. And I decided from the very beginning that I didn't want to come into here and cut players. So I didn't want to get a huge pool and cut players. There's a second reason for that is that we don't have a long preparation time for each tournament. That was our agreement with the leagues. If we're going to get these players, then we have to shorten our preparation. If we want long preparation, these players will not be available to us. So, and if you have a big pool, you need a longer preparation because you have more people to teach. So these are the things that went into our mind in the beginning of this program. So my idea was I didn't want to cut players from the pool, get a big pool, and then cut players from the pool. I wanted to start with a solid 12, and if necessary, add. So I know there's been some controversy of whether we had a big enough pool or not. Again, if we had a big pool of big players, then we might take a look at doing something like that. But our pool for our big men is very small, and we lost one of those guys in AJ Edu, who would have been a key component on our team, being 6'11". He was our best player in the World Cup when we were here in Manila. So when we lost him, it was a big blow. But again, also when you get into the tournament, once you're into the tournament, you're locked into those 12. So if you have 5, 6, 7 injuries, then you're playing with 5 guys. You can't replace them at that point anymore. So we could not have, even if we had brought extra players, we could not have changed Kai during the tournament.
We also saw your triangle offense work really well against the European teams. Was that something you expected, or was that a pleasant surprise?
Kind of a little bit of both, I guess. I've been a practitioner of the triangle for 30 plus years. So I know the ability that it has. I know the ability it has to bring players together. It's a great chemistry type of offense because there's a lot of ball movement. Everybody's sharing the ball. No one has an opportunity to be ball dominant. And so I think players generally, once they understand and they learn the triangle, they enjoy running it. But it is a little bit difficult. It is a little bit complex. I have to admit that. It takes a while to get into it and learn it. And that's something that we're still trying to do. I think the biggest problem with our triangle in this particular tournament is that not everybody's familiar with it. So when in the first chance of trouble, when there's, like we're starting to struggle, guys kind of take off and do their own thing or go back to what is natural in their own systems, which destroys the system of the triangle. And that was very evident during Brazil. When they took us out of our, got up and got real physical with it, and we started to panic a little bit, we really stopped executing it. And that's really the next level for this team, is during the bad times, during the down times, can we continue to still execute? And I think that's basically in life, and it's in business as well. When things are going bad, can you execute instead of trying to panic and change things on the fly? Can you stay to what you do? And I think with more familiarity, then these guys will get that message and learn to trust it a little bit more during the downtimes. Like I said, we're doing this for over 4 years. It's the old idea of keeping these guys together so they learn to do things like that they wouldn't if you constantly change and got a new team each tournament.
Well, Coach, I know you're very much well aware now of the limitations of your set of players in terms of how much time they can give to the Gilas program, as well as how and what it takes to train for a tournament such as FIBA. Professional players know that training for a long season in the PBA or in the NBA is different from training for FIBA. And given what we've seen and given your desire to have your players execute when the pressure is on, what are your asks and how do you think you'd want to adjust the training in order to develop those skill sets that you're looking for to perform with short turnarounds and short recovery periods in between games?
Oh, that's a really good question, Gretchen. It comes back to that issue again, at least pre-tournament. It comes back to that issue again. If you're going to get the players that you want and the best players in the country, and I think that's one of the things we proved in this tournament, that if you're going to perform, you need the best players in your country. If you're going to perform at a world stage, you can't bring a developmental team that's made up of college players or lesser pros and hope that they develop over time and get there, because you're just going to constantly be developing and you don't even know which players are really going to be your best players overall, 3 or 4 or 5 years from now. And I think that honestly, our country is too passionate in their basketball to wait 3 or 4 years for a team to mature and get better. They want production now. That's always been our mentality, and that's what we're trying to bring. We're trying to have a development team with younger players, the Kais, the Carls, the Kevins, the Masons. Even Dwight's still a young guy. Those are the guys that are helping develop the team over a period of time. But we also have the veterans like Junmar and Justin himself, Newsom. Those guys are the guys that are the veteran players, and they're going to help us win now. And I think there's got to be a balance there of development and winning now to basically to satisfy the powers that be. And the powers that be are the ones who support the program and the fans and the countrymen of that support the team. So I think there's two things that go on there. So for us to have the best team, best players, it really limits our preparation time. The finals of the last PBA conference finished 3 days before we started our preparation, and it was only 10 days of preparation for this particular tournament. So, if we had practiced a week or two before that, we would have been missing New and CJ and Jumar. And obviously, Jumar and New and CJ are irreplaceable. So, to me, this is really the only way. There's always going to be limitations, but this is the only way that I see personally, and that it's a vision that's been shared with Alp and Lilio and Erica D. That this is the way that we can find some success and still develop the team and reach that goal of getting to the LA Olympics through the World Cup.
Well, Coach, I think it's great what you're doing, having the best players in the country buy in to the system, having them invest not just in a year, but several years leading to the World Cup. And we do hope you'd be able to get a solid roster, a deep bench, and more time with those players. We'll let you rest for now. We do want more conversation time with you, but our time has run out. Thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Also, don't forget, 2 wins away from a Paris Olympics ticket. That's nothing to be ashamed
Nothing to
of,
scoff
right?
at. Yeah, we are very, very proud.
incredibly
I know
proud.
Coach Tim Cohn, he hates those moral wins.
Yeah, that's a big disappointment. When you say 2 wins from the Bears, I mean, like I said, when we got there, we really wanted to win it.
All right, let's
So-
reframe it. You left 2 days later than you expected. So see, you
Yes, we
overshot
did.
your
We
own
did do that.
expectations
That is
already.
true. Took
goes to
a
show-
longer trip to get home, too. Because of it.
Well, Coach, we will wait another 3 more years, I think, till we see the best of this program happen. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. Congratulations for a memorable FIBA OQT run. We have on the show tonight Coach Tim Cohn.